Mangwanani Mwalelepo Vukenjani Keklas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, your daily portal into the pertinent stories shaping our continent. On today's show, Uganda passes a controversial law allowing military trials of civilians. Zambia's government and the late Edgar Lungu's family resolve a tense standoff over his funeral. Kinshasa reels from deadly floods in the heart of the dry season. The U.S. may expand its travel ban to include 25 African countries. Ghana is rocked by a gold smuggling scandal worth $11 billion. And South African President Cyril Ramaphosa touches down at the G7 summit. Zimbabwe report comes with talent Gore with current affairs, sports and entertainment. Watch us on DSTV 285, GOTV 25, 1up2.com and NTV Africa on YouTube. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top story shortly.
Slow internet should be a headache of the past, yet many Namibians have connections that just aren't fast. We have a solution that might set you free. It's called Mobile LTE, and it comes with real speed. You'll enjoy up to 50 megabytes per second from just $300 Namibian a month and free internet browsing after midnight till 6. When it comes to staying connected, this is it. Visit paratus.africa/Namibia or our branches nationwide and experience the thrill of better internet with Paratus by your side.
Always prepared, Paratus.
Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has signed into law a controversial bill that reintroduces military trials for civilians, sparking outrage among opposition leaders and rights activists who argue it defies a recent Supreme Court ruling. The Uganda People's Defence Forces Amendment Act 2025 was approved by Parliament last month and officially assented to by Museveni, whose administration claims the measure is aimed at deterring politically motivated armed groups. Critics, however, view it as a tactic to suppress dissent. The Supreme Court had earlier deemed such trials unconstitutional, prompting the transfer of cases like that of opposition figure Kizza Besigye from military to civilian courts. With the new legislation in force, civil liberties advocates fear a rollback of judicial independence and a return to practices used to silence political opposition, accusations the government denies. Bobby Wine, the prominent opposition leader and former military court defendant, is preparing to run against Museveni in the 2026 elections. If challenged in court by petitioners, the law could face yet another legal battle, underscoring deep tensions between Uganda's judiciary. Now, the family of Zambia's late former president Edgar Lungu has reached an agreement with the government over funeral arrangements following days of tense negotiations. Lungu, who died in South Africa at the age of 68 while receiving treatment, had reportedly requested that current President Hakainde Hichilema not attend or come near his body. However, a compromise has been made, allowing Hichilema to preside over a state funeral on Sunday, 22 June. The former president's body will arrive in Lusaka on Wednesday via private charter, be received with full military honors, and lie in state at his residence before being made available for public viewing over 3 days at a conference center. Burial will take place on 23 June at Embassy Park, Zambia's official presidential burial grounds. At a joint press briefing, the Lungu family apologized for the prolonged negotiations, stating they were acting to honor Lungu's final wishes. The government, represented by Secretary to Cabinet Patrick Kangwa, called for unity and thanked citizens for their patience. Though Lungu had been barred from contesting elections again, he remained a powerful political figure and a vocal critic of Hichilema until his death. In our next story, at least 29 people have died in Kinshasa, the capital of Democratic Republic of Congo, after torrential rains triggered floods and landslides in the middle of the dry season. The Interior Ministry confirmed widespread damage, with flimsy homes swept away, major roads inundated, and large parts of the city plunged into darkness due to power cuts. Meteorologists recorded 90 millimeters of rain in one morning, an amount exceeding even peak levels at usual rainy season. Experts link the extreme weather to climate change, but the crisis was compounded by Kinshasa's lack of urban planning and proper drainage systems. The rapidly growing population, now estimated at nearly 18 million, has led many to settle in flood-prone and poorly constructed areas. Interior Minister Shabani Luko declared a crisis meeting and pledged government support, including covering funeral costs for victims. This marks yet another tragic chapter following deadly floods in South Kivu in May and in Kinshasa in April, underscoring the capital's growing vulnerability to climate shocks. In the loss of our top stories, the Trump administration is considering expanding its travel ban to include 36 more countries, 25 of which are African, according to the Internal State Department cable signed by Secretary of State Marco Rubin. This follows a proclamation earlier this month that already barred citizens from 12 nations. The proposed expansion cites concerns over national security, including unreliable identity documentation, lack of cooperation on deportations, and alleged anti-American or terrorist activities. Countries potentially facing full or partial bans include Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and others, with a 60-day window to meet new benchmarks or face suspension. Affected nations have until Wednesday morning to submit action plans addressing U.S. concerns. The African Union has condemned the policy, which comes amid increasingly strained U.S.-Africa relations. Critics view the move as discriminatory and politically motivated. If implemented, the expanded ban would significantly restrict travel and immigration from nearly half of the African continent, further isolating affected countries from opportunities in the U.S. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. That story of the travel ban will be one of Talent Gore's stories as she delivers the Zimbabwe report right after the weather. It's time for Talent Gore to join us to deliver the Zimbabwe report. Talent Wamukase. Tamuka Edu. Now, we just highlighted this story in our top stories. Donald Trump has added Zimbabwe to its list of countries which are facing a U.S. travel ban. Please expand on that.
Yes, Zimbabwe is one of the 36 countries whose citizens could be banned from traveling to the United States over alleged identity documentation fraud and visa violations. A memo which was signed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio and sent to the United States diplomats. It says that the listed countries have 60 days to allow new rules by the State Department, and the State Department said some of the countries have failed to meet certain standards. Some had no competent or cooperative central government authority to give out trusted identity documents. Others have a large number of citizens who have violated the terms of their visas. The memo adds that if a country agrees to take back third country nationals being deported from the US, it may help ease other concerns. The countries facing possible visa limit, travel bans, or other steps include 35 in Africa, we have Angola, we have Benin, we have Burkina Faso, there is Cabo Verde, there is Cameroon, there is Cote d'Ivoire, there is also Democratic Republic of Congo, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Egypt, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Malawi, Mauritania, Nigeria, Sao Tome, Senegal, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. So we're just going to see if Zimbabwe is going to meet the requirements for them for us to have our citizens travel to the United States in the next 60 days. If they fail, that means that Zimbabwe will be banned from traveling. Zimbabweans will be banned from traveling to the United States of America. So we're just going to see if the government is going to give in to what the United States of America is requesting.
All right, talent will certainly be keeping an eye on that. As we understand, the countries must submit a plan to the U.S. on Wednesday to address the U.S.'s concerns, and they'll take it from there. Now, if there is a term that has been consistent with both the plummeting and the sporadic nature of Zimbabwe's economy, it is brain drain, where several industries have lost professionals due to economic circumstances in the country. Now, talent, I understand you're here to report that over 5,000 teachers quit the profession in 2023.
Yes, well, this was said by the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education. The ministry said that over 5,000 teachers quit the profession in 2023, but unions representing the educators say that the figure is understated. The union say that teachers who actually left the profession are much more than what the government is saying. The Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe last month claimed that 15,000 teachers quit the profession in frustration over poor working conditions. Teachers are at loggerheads with government over a wage dispute and are demanding at least 540 United States dollars which they earned before October 2018. The educators earn an average of 250 United States dollars per month and around 3,000 Zimbabwean golds. Ministry spokesperson Taunka Nandor admitted that the education sector has been hard hit by brain drain. Teachers' welfare remains a priority, evidenced by regular salary reviews, latest adjustment 10% plus 300 United States per month supplement, ongoing classroom infrastructure upgrades, and expanded teacher housing schemes. Well, this was said by the ministry spokesperson who said that the government, or rather the ministry, is making efforts to ensure that they sustain or they're able to take care of the teachers they have. You also said that our verified data shows annual departure significantly lower than the figures cited by the union. 2023 attrition is 5,217, resignation were 909, retirement 2,866, and others 242. Ndoro, however, alleged that 8,500 teachers were recruited to fill the gap. He said there were various reasons why teachers were quitting the profession, such as the need for family relocation, health, personal reasons, career change, and remuneration concern, which he said was at 9%. But the teachers' union themselves, they're saying that the teachers are leaving the profession because of remuneration, because of poor working conditions. So what the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education is saying, and what the teachers' unions is saying, they are far off. The government is saying that only 5,000, over 5,000 teachers have left, but the teachers' union, which are at the grassroots and they know the concerns of the teachers, are saying that over 15,000 teachers have left the profession since 2023 alone. So right now we are at loggerheads. We don't know who to believe, the teachers unions or the government itself. But we certainly hope that the government will come with a plan to ensure that no teachers are lost anymore, because we have lost a lot of teachers. Some schools don't have enough teachers. Some governments, they don't have enough teachers, so we hope that the government is making a plan to ensure that they return the teachers that we have available.
All right, Talent. I understand former Foreign Affairs Minister Walter Mzembe was arrested on Friday, and we know Walter Mzembe had just returned in Zimbabwe last week, and there were reports that he arrived safely at the airport, went to visit the president, and then got arrested. I'm not sure if those are verified reports. Either way, what are the circumstances surrounding his arrest?
Well, apparently, prosecutors revealed that he had 3 outstanding arrest warrants. His lawyer, Killian Mandike, submitted medical documents which he said will prove that Muzembe did not willfully default but was in fact undergoing treatment in South Africa. The former Masvingo South MP, who lost his ministerial job after a military coup that ousted the late Robert Mugabe, is believed to have returned to Zimbabwe last Tuesday from Zambia, where he was self-exiled. On Wednesday, Mzembe made efforts to see President Emmerson Mnangagwa, but was rebuffed even after arriving at State House. He returned to Zambia, returning to the country on Friday after speaking to Mnangagwa by phone. A source said Mzembe is confident that he will win the court's favor over the administrative warrants amid indications that ZANU-PF officials in Masvingo have been heavily lobbying President Emmerson Mnangagwa to allow him to return to the fold. Mzembe had claimed political persecution over his arrest, which followed his instructions as tourism minister to the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority to buy televisions for fan parks during the 2010 FIFA World Cup hosted by South Africa. So right now, he appeared in court yesterday and was remanded in custody, and he has to appear. And he has to appear again in court today, and we'll hear what the magistrate has to say concerning his arrest. But as of now, Walter Mzembe is arrested.
All right, we'll certainly be looking forward to an update on that story. Now, the next story totally breaks my heart. Now, everyone knows I love Arsenal, but everyone's got a home team, as you should, in Africa. And the first team I ever supported was the Glamour Boys, Dinamo Dimbare Dynamos. And it's saddening to hear that the former giants of Zimbabwean football are pulling out of the CAF Confederation Cup as the financial woes continue to mount. Tell us more.
Yes, former Zimbabwe Giants, Dynamos, have pulled out of the 2025-2026 CAF Confederation Cup due to financial challenges bedeviling the club. Dynamos qualified for the Continental Tournament after winning the Chibuku Cup. The former giants of Zimbabwe football are in the grips of a major financial crisis that has seen players going unpaid their signings on fees, the club using last year's kits, and the club languishing in relegation zone in the domestic league. Club chiefs said they believed that it was in the best interest of the team and everyone associated with Dynamos to focus on strengthening its readiness for future competitions and ensure they would not participate in such tournaments just to make up numbers. Dynamos has failed to attract a major sponsor, leaving the club battling to meet its obligations and put together a competitive team. Apparently, as of now, the team is also battling relegation, and this is the first time in so many years that the giant club, because Dynamos is a team to so many Zimbabweans, and it is sad seeing the former giant in the relegation zone. We certainly hope that something will be done to ensure that the club does not go to relegation, and we hope that a sponsor will definitely come out and sponsor the team, because right now they are struggling financially. They can't pay their players. The club can't pay its players, and they have been using last year's kit, which is something that is old. Each year they should at least release a new kit, but as of now they haven't done so because they are struggling financially.
Well, talent, I certainly hope that things turn around for the mighty Glamour Boys. Dimbare will rise again. Thank you very much for bringing us the news stories from Zimbabwe.
You're welcome, and thank you very much for having me.
It's always good having you on Africa. Good morning. Let's have a look at the economic indicators. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa landed in Calgary for the G7 summit, where he was greeted by Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and a formal delegation. The summit is being held in Kananaskis, nestled in the Canadian Rockies, and will see the participation of leaders from the world's biggest economies. Top of the agenda are the escalating conflicts between Israel and Iran, the ongoing war in Ukraine, and U.S. President Donald Trump's continuing trade tensions with allies and adversaries. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is also attending and is expected to have a tense meeting with Trump following a previously contentious encounter at the White House. Ramaphosa will also meet Trump in their first bilateral since a controversial May exchange, where Trump confronted the South African leader over discredited claims of a genocide against white South Africans. The summit offers a high-stakes platform for South Africa amid tense geopolitics, with Ramaphosa seeking to reinforce the nation's diplomatic standing while navigating sensitive bilateral concerns. Observers anticipate his meetings could influence future U.S.-South Africa relations, especially in trade and foreign policy alignment. That's been our economic news story, and those have been our stories on Africa Good Morning. DSTV 285, GOTV 25, oneup2.com, and NTV Africa on YouTube is precisely where you can find us. Tomorrow we dive into the Botswana Report with Rorisang Mohojwe, of course with still the top stories from the African continent. From me, Ashwin Berry, and the Africa Good Morning team, Swera Jaganaka.